Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, testing. We're in an interesting place today, chat, so I'm just doing a quick little audio check to make sure everything is going to be a-okay. And immediately spill my drink. Give me a second. It's not been an easy one as of late, chat. Not today. Not for your boy. But we're here anyway. Me to try to do this like this. Alrighty. Let's try this dance again, chat. Hello, everyone. I am the last Omnitech, your favorite robot American. And I'm standing today. It's weird. It's a weird day. Hold on. Let me just, Aha! Good thing I shaved recently. This would be a terrible day to show off the angles of my inability to shave. So, why are we in this weird camera state? What's up with this? Well, your boy is 36, and, well, I don't know how to say this, except for sometimes when you get older, things don't work as much as they used to. Yesterday I had a marathon session of sitting on my butt, doing work. Apparently, when you're in your 30s, your late 30s, mid-30s, that can have a negative effect on your health. I might have bruised my coccyx or pulled something in my butt, hard to tell, but my butt is sore, and I don't want to give myself sciatica, so today we up here. Biggest challenge is going to be drawing today. But we will be drawing. Hey Alec, how you doing? And for those of you who are wondering, wait, Omni, if you have a standing desk, isn't that not a problem? I don't have a standing desk. God, even laughing hurts my butt. I don't have a standing desk. No, friends. All I have is a tablet I can lift up and draw on, the old-fashioned way. So today, I'm going to draw like I'm in the wild, and it's going to seriously impact my ability to function, but we will give it a shot, because I promised to stream today, and I will deliver us a stream. Like, on the positive side, though, it seems that the audio quality is pretty good, because now the mic is pointing directly at my face. And I can look at you guys pretty much head-on. How you doing today, Alec? I hope you're having a better day than my rear end is. So, today we're... even laughing hurts my butt. OMNI 2025. Yeah. Makes me think of, what is it? It's that, Rick and Morty. Even pooping hurts. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I pulled something back there. It's muscular, I'm pretty confident. So, because if it wasn't, laughing wouldn't hurt. There's no pressure anywhere on my butt, except my muscles. On the positive, though, this is going to force me to be a little more on my feet today. So, we're making it work. So, let's get back to the actual thing. Besides the fact that this is Omni's first ever standing drawing challenge. Doing a preparing for Tarkir pre-release at store tomorrow. Nice, nice. Hope you enjoy it. I'm in a weird place with Magic right now. I want to like Magic. I want to. But right now, Wizards of the Coast is really trying to make me not. And it's very unfortunate. Also, I'm kind of done spending money on it, but I have all my decks to still play, so good thing I own it in paper. And, you know, proxies. So, today our agenda is pretty straightforward. In case the title page didn't give it away, we're going to be doing some work on my webcomics Gentry, Dolaan, Ain't No Fascist, a Helldivers 2 fan comic, and Brothers, A Tale of Treachery and Doom, my Grimdark Future webcomic. So, we're going to get to it. So a couple days ago, as we were... also, by the way, anyone who's interested in the music, it is in the description. You all know the drill. And likewise, also, like, subscribe. I'm standing. My butt hurts. I really would appreciate those likes. I would appreciate those likes. Oh, yeah. I'm obsessed, but I only get stuff in my store, obviously. Well, yes, in fairness, as I understand, you work there, so I imagine, hopefully there's a discount. I hope there's a discount. It's like one of the best perks you can get working in a game store. But yes, so we've been working bit by bit on developing sub-factions for these webcomics. In addition to the characters, I'm working within properties that have, like, extensive existing lore and extensive existing, like, factions within the setting. So I'm going to do my best to try to incorporate some of those in here today. So starters, we already started last time with the TRA, Termanid Rights Activism, or Termanid Rights Activists, TRA. So, we started ourselves a character already by the name of Patricia Lunali, who is a Termanid Rights Activist. And today we're going to do a couple of, like, quick sketches on this. I'm just going to literally, because I do not have the capacity to get down to the keyboard very much, I'm just going to title this one out to be Sketch 1. We're just going to call it that. And we're just going to call this Concept Sketches. This is my first time actually doing a template for an entire sub-faction within one of my webcomics. So this is going to be interesting. At least I should say within my Helldivers one, not the Brothers one. The Brothers one is like nothing but sub-factions. So, let's see. We're going to actually take this, duplicate it. I'm going to just pop that there. Patricia. Cool. And we're going to just group this. We're going to undo whatever that was. There we go. Patricia. My brother. Brother in Christ. I don't know what happened there. There we go. Cool. Then we can take the header, copy that, slap it down under the concept sketch layer. Beautiful. So I can turn that off completely. So, let's start with the basics. TRA. Termanid Rights. I don't want to say association, but I suppose movement, militants. Association sounds weird. Termanid Rights Activists. Let's see. The TRA Front is what I'll call them for now. That feels appropriate. And we can catch this with the actual... I don't know what's going on with that, but that's being weird. Oh, I see what's happened. X, B. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. Termanid Rights Activist. Or Termanid Rights. I guess it'd be Termanid Conservation would be the proper term. You'll also have to forgive me, I'm not used to typing vertically like this. This is weird. Coalition? That works. I feel like front might work better, but we'll just call it a coalition down below. So, Termanid Rights Activist Front, Termanid Conservation Coalition. Militant Termanid Conservation Coalition. Cool. I'm going to flip the Gentry silhouette off because this is just going to be a little sketch page here. Nothing too fancy. At least not planned to be. Anyhow. Cool. That'll do. Alright, let's get to the actual doodling then, shall we? This might be a little easier or way harder. We're gonna figure this out. Because again, I'm not used to doing this standing, and I probably should do it standing more often if my ass is anything to go by. And right now, it's all I got. These butt cheeks are the only thing that pay my bills, that and my art. I'm joking, obviously. Here we go. Good thing I already set up my tablet with some key commands, so we're already in a good place. We're going to start this, save it fast. Okay. We're already on sketch layer 1, so I'm not too worried about that. That'll do. We can hide all this stuff. Cool. So, a lot of what I've been drawing from visually, in terms of these guys, has very much been like the resistance movements within the movie Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, not the other Avatar, the Avatar movie that we all pretend doesn't exist for the sake of our collective sanity. Move these guys out of the way so I don't accidentally clip them. And so I've been drawing a lot from the scientists who worked in the defense. Alright, I'm just going to go grab the book so I actually have an art reference here. Oh, what do you want to bet it's down there at the bottom? It's probably still hiding at the very, very bottom. Yes, it is! And there's the art of Anthem as well. Oh, look at that. All the art references I needed. All in one place. So yes, I have been using the art of the various James Cameron Avatar movies as inspiration for these guys. They're a faction that is specifically designed to be a resistance force built on science. So I'm kind of liking the idea of working around that a little bit. I have one last reference book I want to grab for myself while I still got it. Move this out of the way, pardon me, as I move all my butt pillows. Here we go. Yeah, it's definitely muscular. Woo, I can feel it. Let's see, it should be in here. There's this old reference book, or this old art book. There's this old art book I got years ago when the first Avatar came out called James Cameron's Avatar, an Activist Survival Guide, which is actually pretty good. It's actually very intriguing to see how they've developed these characters. I'm going to aim this a little further down so I can actually reference my stuff and have more space. And so, namely, I really dig the way that they've sort of shown off how humans are subverting the technology that they've been given to defend themselves with. It's also got a crazy amount of art in here that's really, really useful. Cool. Okay, so, starting with that, and a little of the Halo art book that I got here too, and Titanfall. Let's start ourselves off with a little concept art that I can work around. I want these guys to feel very rugged and resilient, like they patch together their gear. Because again, these guys are not fighting against the forces of Super Earth in the traditional sense. I suspect they're trying to sort of survive as best as they can. Also, I'm just going to very quickly open up a reference. Here we go. I have a whole bunch of Termanid references saved. And so we're going to go with that. Boop. Beautiful. Okay. So let's start with some basics. The TRA don't use traditional arms. I don't think that they do anyway. I think it's pretty safe to say these folks are kind of... they're technologically screwed in a lot of ways. They're working with what they got. And so, as a result, what they have is what they study. What they study is Terminids. And so, if anyone's ever seen the... if anyone's ever played, like, StarCraft 2. I'm not going to say spoiler alert for a game that at this point is actually almost a decade old. But there's a group of scientists that work to study the Zerg in StarCraft. And they kind of use them a little bit almost like weapons. And I kind of dig that idea. So as far as the TRA is concerned, they're doing their best to try to keep what's left of what we would know as the Terminids, what were once known as the Buds when they were sapient, alive and functioning. This is my first time doing this standing, so you're going to have to cut me a little slack today. I'm back to kind of drawing like I was years ago. Like those proportions be a little off. There we go. And I'd actually hunt and peck the old-fashioned way. So much easier when I have keyboard commands at my fingertips, but I don't right now. That feels a little better. Cool. So we're just starting with a little rough sketch here. And I'm trying to look at one particular thing. There's like one particular creature that they have. Ha! There we go. Hunter. That's the one. Here we go. Get a couple of thorns on the back here. So I imagine they've sort of learned how to use pheromones to communicate and work with the Terminids. Not entirely. It's kind of like the way scientists nowadays are able to use pheromones to sort of like loosely like control ant movement to a degree. Not a lot, but like we're starting to get to that point where we're actually beginning to understand a little bit of what like the different types of communication mean, what their actual like function might be, that kind of thing. Let's see, so we're just going to sort of pull that to there. They don't really have eyes on those guys, do they? I think they should. It's hard to spot where the Terminid's eyes are, if they even possess them. Because I know that they do for the larger ones, but for the smaller ones, I don't know. I guess the eyes would be somewhere over here. On the bottom end of it. It's doing that thing where it's closing tabs immediately, especially the ones I need, which is not good. There we go. Cool. Okay. So I figure these guys were studying how to initially, like, farm these creatures better, and they started realizing, like, huh, they're actually pretty self-aware. This might not be ethical, and, well, Super Earth doesn't really give a whit for ethics. Not really. So I kind of figure that this is them sort of just going like, oh, okay, well, we're not really okay with that. These creatures are clearly self-aware. And so now we're in this place where these scientists are basically on the run from Super Earth. Let's get into this layer here very fast. We're going to just block this out quick. Today we're going to be sticking mostly to rough sketches for obvious reasons. I'm literally standing here. My butt doesn't work, so sitting is a lot more difficult, and sketching is basically all I can manage. Please be patient with my butt. Literally. Be patient with my butt. I have to be. There we go, so I can see that a little better. Cool. So as far as the actual scientists are concerned, I'm figuring they're literally scientists. So in this case, 45%, 45%, shrink that down. So a lot of them are probably wearing like civilian gear or their research gear. Very simple stuff. Hit this with a 25. Actually, no. We'll keep this. I want to work out the shape of this first. I also want to kind of go with a little bit of like a gothic aesthetic to these folks. Like at this point, since they're not a part of super society, they can kind of start letting themselves get a little more punk. So a lot of them might have like shaved heads, or their hair might be outrageous colors, that kind of thing. They're kind of embracing the rebellion side of it. You know, what did they say? Fight the power, right? So we have ourselves these big... We have ourselves these big honking, like, research jackets and coats. Saving this before I go any further. Okay. As far as pants go, I figure loose, baggy, very convenient sort of pants. Lots and lots of pockets. Basically cargo pants. I'm gonna give this guy a bit of an Abraham Lincoln beard here. Just sort of differentiate that out. Here we go. So these folks are actively trying to weaponize the Terminids in their own defense. Because it's about all they really have. Go. Let's get this to 25%. Let's actually undo that. I want to do a little bit of erasing here. Here we go. So we're starting off with a simple sketch here. And we'll build off of this as we need and as we can. So I figure these guys probably use some form of, as I mentioned, pheromonal communication to work with them. They probably have some kind of pheromonal device that they wear. It's probably very likely that whatever the device is, it's aftermarket and it's simple. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shading in here so we can sort of see where things are. Maybe you might even be showing it to them. I can see that. He might be actually showing the Termanid this thing. Here we go. So we're literally operating off the simplest of sketch work I can do, but we might be able to get some actual, like, detail going in a bit. And we're just going to add to the back limbs the darkest possible light, so it's very clear which part of them is in shadow. Alright, let's start getting some doodling going. I believe they've probably been working on their own substrain of the Termanids. It's very likely what's been going on. So let's get some coloration going. I don't want to take them too far off of existing Termanid color schemes. So let's start with a white. Sort of to catch the outline of where these little guys are. So I genuinely believe these folks are actual true blue conservationists. Dyed-in-the-wool park rangers, that kind of thing. The sort of folks that, for those of you who are unaware of our current situation, are very quick to be laid off by those powers that be. So I suspect they were already probably on the chopping block even before they decided to start going rogue. Some of these really sharp forelimbs here. At least for the hunters, anyway. Oof, that hurt. Ugh. Oh. Alright, so we've got that done. Let's get our next coloration going. We're going to go into the yellow. Here we are. Here we go. We can sort of paint the backside of this a little bit. Okay. Now I really want to get that really intense, like, orange they have around their ridges and on their undersides. So we will be getting into that next. There we go. That at about 35%. Let's get a little darker. So those wings are looking pretty good. Those fins on the head, not so much. Let's fix that. Automatically looks better. It's amazing what a single shade can do. So I'm literally drawing colors here right off the Helldiver concept art because it works so well for this. When in doubt, get your palettes from an actual source. That helps so much. There we go. You sort of get that, like, bug-like butt there. They have these segments, and their carapace and their body. Very clearly outlined. going to go with an off-white for this. Here we go, so we can sort of take this, add a little shading in here and there, sort of sculpt out the design a little more. Go. Not too bad. And we're just going to carve this limb down here to a nice sharpened spike. Same thing here. And definitely the same thing here. These back here are way too wide. Now let's go give some coloration to this. We have red. We need to keep it the color flavor. So that means that if we're opening up our color wheel, Termanid color starts with orange. Let's actually open this up as a color wheel. Okay, so we get to talk colors for a second, folks. So the color wheel works along basically the principle of there being multiple colors on it. There are 3 different kinds. There are, I believe, or at least the two, I should say, the 2 major kinds of colors are complementary color and contrasting color. Complementary color is colors nearby. So that means that if we're talking Termanid orange, we're sitting next to red, and we're sitting next to yellow. Technically greenish falls into the complementary at this zone. Whereas on the other side, contrast color would be cyan and blue, because of the angle where we're at. We're not like in a perfect orange, we're sort of off of it. So we are sitting at like a cyan blue is our contrast color. I don't want to add blue in, because that'll mess with our color stees here. But I am going to take this and pull this deeper into red. Almost like the Predator strain a little bit that already exists. And we're going to go over here to our sprays and splatters. Oh, it's on the eraser. Whoops. I was wondering why it wasn't working. That'll explain it. I'm thinking of different colors for insects as well. different colors for insects. Usually, like, we could use green, actually. We could use green. It falls into the complementary color zone. Let's do that, actually. Let's start with dark green. You know what? I'm not going to actually do the easy thing. I'm going to do the tough thing here. Okay. Bruh. There we are. We're going to just zoom in here for a minute. Because I can lift and move, but it ain't easy. Here we go. So let's start with sort of a simple mottling effect. We'll put this at 45% overlay. But actually, let's almost go with like zebra stripes. I think that could be interesting. This gives us a very distinctive color to sort of work with, or a very distinctive shape that we can go off of. And we'll add a couple like little splotches on here just because we can. Here we go, that'll do. I figure these guys have probably bred a variety of Termanid initially for research purposes that are literally so placid they can be controlled very easily. However, they were hoping that in doing so they would be able to like make their farming a little more ethical and be like, hey, we can literally just have them like live out here until they actually need to be harvested and die like pigs or other animals, and you know, we don't need to go to constant wars. Just introduce this subspecies. It'll be great. And I can't imagine that went over very well with Super Earth. Because those guys dig their war economy, and the Termanids are kind of like the permanent threat they love to hold over everyone's heads. So these guys are almost kind of the inverse of the Predator strain from Helldivers. They're very docile. Now, the place color is often most expressed on insects tends to be either their wings or their carapace. I'll primarily stick to the carapace with this, but I feel like I need to add some pattern to the wings. At least a little bit. So let's go to this. We'll add 2 slashes in here. I don't want to make the patterns so impossible to replicate that drawing them in the comic is going to be a nightmare. Okay, cool. So we got ourselves a little bit of coloration there, but I'm not satisfied with it. I want more. I want it more vibrant. Then we'll use that to sort of pick out where the bones are in the wings still. There we go. We're also going to simplify Termanid mouths a little bit because they're really... They have a lot of petty palps and multiple, like, eating parts, and it's very hard to render that. So much so that the game kind of, like... It does, but it's very hard to really make out in any fine detail. Cool. So we have ourselves this new subspecies of Termanid, and I'm going to give him like a very bright eye down here. Very bright set. I could do green eyes. That could work. Let's do it, so that way we have a little contrast here. And I'm just going to sort of give them four bits, almost like a Sangheili have. So you have like this 4-part mouth under there. That's about as best as I can do. I don't want to go into all the crazy details of rendering super complex insectoid anatomy over and over and over again. So let's get on to the actual device they use. I figure it's small enough for them to wear on their person. Almost kind of like a safety device. It's probably what it was initially designed to be. with some kind of simple safety device to make sure the researchers working with the Terminids don't, you know, get eaten. And then in time they realize, like, oh, hey, they respond to these things actually just as well as if, you know, we were trying to communicate with them. So we can modulate them and actually talk to them now. And I, again, have to emphasize, Super Earth is not keen into that. They really dig having the Terminids around to kick whenever they need to. So I figure the entire interior of the device is probably like a synthesized Terminid organism. Synthesized Terminid organism. Synthesized Terminid organ system. Basically, like we have to use our mouths and our ears to speak, they more or less replicated the Terminids' ability to generate pheromones, the same pheromone glands and the pheromone readers that Terminids basically have built into them. These guys manufactured a handheld or armband variety of the system that could be modified and moved at will. And we'll give it a stronger, like, yellow-gold kind of pulse in there. I want it to kind of almost look a little bit like the Terminative hive structures. And how, like, that E710 glow just sort of, like, naturally goes through it. Alright, cool. So we got that. There we are. There we go. So we have this device that they've made. I'm trying to think of a good name for this thing. Something about, like, communication. I suppose the Rosetta device, or the Rosetta device could be a good word for it. So these researchers invented this device that allows them to communicate with the Terminids. Or at least, you know, moderately. They begin to realize that the Terminids aren't inherently violent, and in fact, might even be able to be controlled. And at first they go into this project as kind of just a way to make them more docile farm animals. And then as they spend more time with these entities, with these Terminids, they start realizing, like, oh, these things might actually be fully self-aware. Like, actually effectively people. We maybe shouldn't do this anymore. I feel like I need to call out the edge of those, like, blades. They have these very sharp blades. Here we go. Okay. You go into this area up here. Now, one of the things, again, I'm trying to really go for with these guys is they have a very Park Ranger-esque vibe. And that's not a coincidence. Right now in the United States, there's a lot of bullshit going on in the federal government, and not the least of which being the destruction of parks and recreation, as well as also a lot of the government bureaus. Scientists are largely being kicked out of the federal government, as tends to happen as fascism rises. So, it felt only appropriate that I give these scientists a place in the comic. At least some of them. So if I can find some names from the actual people who are going through this, I'd love to actually use some of those names. I would ask their permission first, but we'll see how that goes. If the answer's no, by the way, the answer's no. I'm not going to draft people into a fucking webcomic against their will. That'd be just scummy. But these guys kind of represent my take on that same problem in the Super Earth Society. These incredibly intelligent folks who've managed the near impossible, and because it doesn't align with the goals of their leadership, it's probably not going to ever see the light of day. And they're probably being locked away and gulagged in this particular circumstance because, unlike our real world, Super Earth can be extremely mask off very quickly. We're pretty mask off now, but I don't want to say there's still a couple of, like, hurdles before we get quite to that level. But honestly, there are people actually being disappeared right now, and that's not really... It's not good. It's not good. Here we go. We can sort of add a little bit more detail there. Cool. Alright. So I figure these guys actually utilize the Terminids, therefore, as a weapon. That's kind of where I'm getting at here. And I suspect that that is probably their last defense. These guys have had to go underground to try to survive. And this is where we're kind of at now. Where they sort of need to either fight or die. They're not fighters, but the creatures they work with, the Terminids, are very capable of violence. So, unfortunately, they're basically re-weaponizing something that they found a way to get around. Let's see. TRA researcher. I'm gonna go with, let's see. Random name. TRA researcher Ira Johnstone. Introducing a hunter of the... And I want to call them, like... I'm trying to think of a good name for this. Because we have the Predator strain. I don't know what the Spore strain is called. Terminids. There's like two specific ones. Okay, here we go. So Spore Burst strain and Predator strain. What's their shtick? What's their whole thing? They're very intelligent creatures. We already have like a very gross acid kind of substrain. We're going to open up the Saurus for this one. Murmur, there's a word like murmur, mumble, mutter. Murderer strain? No, murmurer strain. Hey, good to see you, Natisha. Welcome in. Pleasure to have you. I am standing because my butt hurt. I hurt my butt. I think I sat too long in my chair. And I might be, I think I pulled something. I'm pretty confident it's not skeletal, which is good. So, we're in a good place there. But, muscular isn't much better. But it's good to see you, Natish. I hope you're having a good day today. I'm trying to think of a name for this. How was your day going? How are you being today? So I'm getting a sit to stand desk? Yeah, I would love that. Right now, I'm currently approximating a standing desk as best as I can by just standing at my desk, and I have turned all the monitors facing upward. Still gotta crane over to use the keyboard a lot, which is not ideal, if I'm being completely honest with you all. But, it's something. It's a start. I can't wait for this push-in cushion to come in later this week, folks. Oh, it's supposed to come in on Saturday. I hope it gets in before I have stream. I really do. Because if I don't have this, I might not be able to stream on Saturday. It's one thing to be able to, it'll depend on how much work I can get done, unfortunately. Because if I can't type in my computer, I'm going to have a problem. You are tall AF, so it's kind of hard to adapt. Yeah. It's murdering me. I'm already, like, my desk doesn't even get above my, it doesn't even get to my pelvis. It's, like, upper thigh. So, It ain't ideal. It ain't ideal. I'll call them the Emissary strain. That feels good. That feels like a good name for like a type of Termanid that talks. Is that, you know, because they're not really like actually talking, they're using a pheromone device to communicate back and forth, but it's something. And they respond to it. So, Emissary strain. Make it a little brighter. So, let's see. We'll actually just make it like white, that white shade they got. There we go. Hunter. We'll actually give it a name too. I'm gonna use my method of developing an alphanumeric number sequence, which is I randomly type on the keyboard 1 and those 2. That didn't turn into anything. Oh, right. There we go. That's why. Hunter Y. 365. That's funny. We're just going to make it 36. Hunter Y 36 of the Emissary strain. To a Rosetta device. There we go. Envoy strain. Ooh, Envoy is nice. Envoy's interesting. I like that word. So, we're in that, it's in that weird place, right? So, let's see. I'm going to actually dictionary this. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to be that guy. Emissary. So, emissary, representative sent on a mission or errand. Which works because these guys were originally developed to be basically more, what's the nice way of putting it? Compliant food, more or less. So, or compliant, like a compliant herd animal. Literally, this is the non-ironic version of the Futurama eat me cow. I'm delicious. You should try my ribs. That guy. But, I guess, is that Family Guy or is that, it's something like that. I can't remember what it is. Oh, no, I think it's Rick and Morty that did that. I don't care. There's so many shows that do that kind of stupid skit comedy nowadays. So, Emissary or Envoy. They both kind of do this, both kind of fall into the same role. Diplomatic agent. I like Envoy, actually. Envoy and Emissary both work. I'm gonna flip a coin on this one. You know what? I like the idea that we're gonna call the strain the Emissary strain, but we'll have a character from the Emissary strain, an actual Termanid, called the Envoy. Because that's such a great line. That's such a great name for a character in Atisha. I love that. As long as you don't mind me using it. We are collaboratively building a webcomic here. Sims are my jam? Yeah, it's good stuff. Here we go, to the Rosetta device. So the whole idea behind it is the Rosetta device allows these Terminids to communicate with humans. Also, I'm going to just borrow this fast. There we go. There we go. So I can do that. I can highlight this now. The Emissary strain, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to change the coloration tilt here. I'm going to make it more green. Because I can do that. I can do whatever I want. We're going to go from white to more of that sort of yellowy shade that we had before. We're going to lighten it a lot. Beautiful. Now we can take this and we can actually increase the coloration a little more. There we go. The emissary string. And we're just going to actually delete that. There we go. I can go through so many synonyms, rapid fire, trying to get the goddamn word I was looking for. It's funny to watch me glitch. I used to be able to do that all the time. Not quite so much anymore. Not really my jam, unfortunately. So I'm going to take this, shrink this thing. My god, it's so huge. I'm going to put that underneath TRA researcher thing. And we're going to use this to actually sort of outline the word. I do this occasionally in order to make the font clearer. There we go. That'll do. I kind of want to change this a little bit. It's like a nice, like, median color here. If I just grab that median color... I don't know what just happened, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I see. I grabbed the thing out. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. Hooray. Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep it easy. We'll keep it easy here. And we're just going to highlight this upper word here with a slightly darker shade of orange. A little too dark, actually. Just want to make it a smidge more orange. Sure, that'll do. Sure, that's fine. I don't want to argue with it anymore. It's going to be back and forth this whole time. Here we go. That's good enough. Okay. Already had him losing legibility midtones in the background. Yep, I got you. I do. This is actually what I do with every single webcomic. It makes it a lot easier for me to just sort of actually go out there and do this. Uh-oh, hold on. Boop. Gonna duplicate this. Beautiful. We're just gonna copy emissary strain onto this. Paste without format. I said emissary. Oh, I see what happened. It's because it's so small. There we go. Oh man, that was buried in so much back there. Alright. Let's try this dance again. Let's save this. There we go. And that'll do. Usually also add a splash of color behind it, usually like a black line to sort of denote it. So let's do that. We're going to put a little splash here, put the sketch over the top of it, get myself a nice black splash. Put this at like a, let's say 35 usually does it. So I just sort of, grab that. Pull it up, rasterize the layer so that I have the proper scaling. That'll do. Nice. Whatever this program is, you might be able to use the same thing I do in Photoshop since they have FX layers. That is true, yeah. Procore is an easier way to create text outlines, and so does Photoshop. Yeah, there's ways to do that in this too, but I guess if anything, I'm old school. Also, I don't give myself enough time to figure out better ways of managing my, of streamlining my actual, like, art process in the program. One of these days, I'm going to give myself, like, a whole month off and just do it to learn how to use Affinity better. I'm starting to try to learn inch by inch to get a little better at what I'm doing. But Affinity is still one of those programs where I'm still kind of learning. But yeah, they do have a way, I'm sure, to do it. Like, I'm just not sure what it is, and I'm not sure I'm going to go through the process. Because it's just easy enough to just copy it a couple times and just literally put it underneath. At this point, I actually have the process down where whenever I do a webcomic, I simply just keep the text from a character, from comic to comic, just copy it over, and then replace the text line in each of the many layers by literally just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste all the way down. It's really fast. Let me know if you want me to walk you through it. I'd love that at some point. I would love that at some point. It's a matter of finding the time, but we'll get there. Alright, I've been going for about an hour and a half on what is basically a flat over here. I'm not quite king of the hill and I don't have no ass, but like, I basically don't have an ass today. So, I'm thinking at this point, this is probably where I'm going to call the stream, just for my health's sake. I don't want to overextend myself. Again, I'm 36. I don't want to give myself, you know, I don't want to give myself a nasty case of, like, sciatica at the ripe old age of 36, you know? There we go. I also postpone learning 10 out of 10 no notes. Yeah. Every once in a while I do have to learn something new, and I have learned a couple of new things. I also recently downloaded a new brush pack. Probably one of my favorite ones, actually. There's like one really good one lately. Ah, here we go. It's right there. Pretty confident. If I can just get this on like an upper... I'll just do a random sketch layer here. But yeah, there's actually like a... It's actually like ring ones, coffee ring ones. There's one particular one. Here we go. There's actually an eclipse one that I can do, which is actually really nice. And I've used that once or twice in comics just to make things easy. Don't need to flatten that cake. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I like that. It's actually very kind of cool. These little brushes I've been playing around with. It seems like they basically made a brush for dang near everything nowadays, and I'm quite happy for it. Right? I love Affinity Photos, or the Affinity community. They have so many awesome, really cool, and they're all free. Like, half of them are all free. And the ones I use are all free. So, it's good stuff. So I think at this point, probably where we're calling the session for today. I would have liked to do more. I have a whole nother side of the whole nother side that I want to work on. Namely, I want to work on the brothers and the Auxilia, because I think they're really cool. They're actually one of my favorite like sub-factions, and I really want to do more with them today. But unfortunately, my ass is not letting me. So, I got some fur and chain brushes. Ooh, that's nice. Alrighty, folks. Well, with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys. I'm hoping I don't have to worry about this for too much longer, and that this new pillow comes in and makes my life so much better. But until then, this is where we leave our webcomic stream for today. Take care, folks. Have a good one. And I'll see you out there, Voyagers. Peace. And don't forget, like and subscribe and share with your friends. That's how our tiny channel grows.